Hi, I'm Dasha Pears, and this is the second episode of my new podcast, Inspiration in Action. In this episode, I'll be talking to Anna Devis and Daniel Rueda, an amazing and hugely Instagram famous couple. You can find them on Instagram as @Aniset and @Rueda. The links to their profiles will be in the show notes to this episode. Anna and Daniel shoot creativity-driven minimalistic architectural self-portraits, as they call their works, and blow minds of thousands of people by the simplicity, originality, and positivity of their photos. In this interview, we talk about how perfectionism gets you nowhere, where you should search for your personal style, and what to do when you don't have any ideas for your art. Anna and Daniel share how they get ready for each shoot and what they learn from working with clients like Netflix and Facebook. I promise you'll get lots of valuable insights from this talk.
Hi guys. So, guys, could you please tell us a few words about yourself? Just a bit of what you do now for those very few people who don't know who don't know you, and also after that, tell us how you started. What was the background?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are Daniel and Anna, and we are both architects and photographers.
Mm-hmm.
We are from Valencia, Spain, and we create images and we try to tell stories through photographies in a creative and humorous way. And I would say that's basically how it all started. I mean, we were studying architecture. That's where we met at university. And but we very quickly discovered that we needed something else, something more creative. And we found in photography that just what we needed.
Yeah. I mean, it started like a hobby. We didn't think about it. Of course, we love photography. And yeah, right now it's our full-time job.
Great. Have you ever tried any other type of photography from what we see today? Of course, you were into architecture photography, that and maybe portrait, street, something like that.
I would say, of course, anytime any photographer that starts at some point, it's like you try everything and you take pictures of people, of kids, of weddings, and I think we've done, like every other photographer, we've done them all. But we narrow it down to architecture. In my case, I'm still sometimes taking pictures of architecture projects, but we wanted to find something that was unique for us and more special. And, you know, we found this. And well, at this point, when we say we are photographers, it feels weird because usually photographers, they take, and I'm sure you can relate to this, like you don't take pictures of everything. It's like, you know, and you choose what you want to shoot, and I think that's what really differentiates some kind of photographers. So yeah.
So we would definitely love to know how you found this particular style, but first I know that Daniel took a 365 project in the very beginning. Could you tell us a little bit about that experience, and would you recommend other photographers who are just starting out to do the same? Is it useful?
Yeah, I remember that was a long time ago, but I remember that I had quite some projects when I was younger. Like I also did a small project. I'm sure you've seen many of those, taking pictures of my face every day to see how I changed. And that was because I was very shy and I hated pictures of myself. So for some reason, I thought that would be interesting. And the same with the 365. I was just taking pictures every day and at least sharing one, because I was doing a lot of work, but at the same time, I wasn't sharing those, which is what happens now with our work, that we create a lot of things, but we don't actually share those. We are always a little bit shy and I would say awkward with, you know, with our personal lives and sometimes even with the professional life. And, you know, that's also something that we want to personally thank you for this opportunity to talk to you, because, you know, we don't get to talk to the camera that much, and we really appreciate that. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, well, we all have to deal with the same issue because but I think maybe many artistic people, they're kind of shy and reserved, and work is something which is apart from us, and it's easier to share that. but not something about ourselves. I always feel very awkward. And I actually started my this podcast, and when I had just to record an audio introduction, it felt so awkward. But yeah, well, so you think that the project, like the 365 project, is a kind of a useful thing to get through that awkwardness of taking pictures of yourself? Then
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was really, and both of those projects were just an excuse to have a reason to share something with the world, you know, because artists, creatives, photographers, usually the problem that they face is perfectionism, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you're working on something and you don't feel like it's finished, but for someone else it could be a masterpiece, or you know, something good at least, and you need to find a reason to share that, either if it's a project or an Instagram account or whatever. You just need a reason to show the world what you can do. I think it's a great way to do it.
Yeah. Where did you share those photos of the project? Was it Instagram or was it some other platform?
I think I was using Tumblr, so go figure. I don't know where those accounts are right now, but yeah, I think it was in Tumblr.
It's so interesting that you mentioned perfectionism, because I think so many people actually suffer from that. But when you look, when I look and when so many people look at your work, it's perfect. It's like, wow, it is. And
Thank you.
how do you deal with the perfectionism today?
I think that's what I was trying to mean for us when Anna is working on a picture. It's never done. It's like we need an excuse to actually share it or post it on Instagram. Maybe if it's, you know, the deadline of the weekend hashtag project, or maybe we just tell to ourselves, you know, this has to go live today, because we're going to be editing nonstop until the end of time. So yeah, we appreciate the fact that you say that it's perfect, but for us it's always something missing, something. Maybe I could have spent, you know, 1 hour more editing, or, you know, even the captions and the text. Maybe there's something I could have said or writing that it's not there, but, you know, you have to deal with it.
And well, I have so many questions, and well, let's get to the point where you found your style and you work together always. How do you differentiate whose photo is whose?
Yeah, I mean,
where do you publish those? How
that's a difficult question, because we worked together from the beginning, so we think the ideas together. The process is always the same. We have this brainstorming together. We come up with ideas. I'm the one that sketches all the ideas. So yeah, we always have a drawing before taking the picture, and with that drawing we take a lot of decisions, like composition, clothing, even location. We have a list. If maybe we have to buy some props, or maybe we have to create them, because sometimes you have to paint and you know. And I love that part. I love the creative part, to get dirty, to do things with my own hands. And then we have everything planned. We go and where with the location we have decided, because of course we do a lot of location scouting. Yeah, I would say that the easiest part is to shoot. It's just yeah. So yeah, whose picture is who? I mean, it's so difficult to say, because both are the creators of the picture, so it's difficult to say this picture goes to your account and this goes to mine. But at the end, we know that these pictures are both of us. I mean,
yeah, when I see her account, I feel like those images are also mine, because I participated in those. Maybe some ideas are mine, maybe some technical aspect I did that, and in my gallery it should be the same. When Anna looks at it, should be she should feel like
some of my ideas, and in his account, I mean, it's a long process, so it's not like this picture is 100% mine, or we are working all the time with the pictures together, so It's weird. I mean, we always say it's like a child. I mean, it's half half.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned your sketches. Can you show us some of them? Do you have?
Yeah, we have it in here.
Oh,
Just in
cool. Yeah.
case.
I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone will be interested.
We can show some, I guess.
So, but there are different type of sketches. Like, for example, this would be the type of sketches that we have for ourselves, which are, you
Okay.
know, usually not that clean,
Mhm.
but you know, very small, so that you can see the ideas.
These
Okay.
ones are like small.
Uh-huh.
And then you have sometimes, if you're working for a client, you have, you know, like bigger drawings so that they can see types of outfits and
Yeah, and also this one is already posted. It's with the
Mhm.
washing machine. So yeah, we have a lot of drawings. Sometimes we also use color.
Okay. Yeah. I recognize that. All of them.
So yeah, we have a lot of drawings right now here in the table.
it's a little bit of a mess, but
I'm personally very curious. How do you find the clothes which is half of the color? Do you make them, or are you lucky to find those, or how does
No,
it go?
actually, what we do, we go shopping a lot because of that. It's nice, but of course we also are always searching for new clothing, and when we have an idea, we first look for the materials just in case. I mean, imagine we have a crazy idea and it's not affordable to do that, or so. Of course, in this case, we were lucky because fashion was leading this way. Like we find like 3 different half clothes, like double color dresses. But of course, we sometimes even we ask for help for how is it like this? The people that is designing clothing. I mean, sometimes we ask for help just to create the exact piece we want to.
yeah, but that is in very particular
Yeah.
cases. Usually, what happens is, okay, we need a yellow dress.
Mhm.
Nothing. We want it to be minimal so that you don't, you don't pay attention to the details of the dress, but to the whole message or the whole concept of the image. And then you start a real quest to find simple yellow dress with no details, with no nothing
It's
too.
so difficult.
It's impossible.
So I know.
Yeah, we go from store to store trying to find the thing that you have in your mind, and it's very difficult. I mean, it would be easier to hire someone to just, try to make this for us, right? But usually when we have an idea and we want to make it, it's just from one day to the other. So you don't really have the time, and there's only 2 of us, and none of us knows how to really, create a dress. So
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you ever worked with other people? You have a very small team, but maybe do you invite some other people into your team? Maybe makeup artists or assistants who can help you hold stuff while you're shooting?
When we give lectures, we receive a lot of inquiries. Like people want to join the team, which is super nice. Right now, we are just both of us, and of course, we work with models, but not like assistants or. I mean, we do everything by ourselves. I mean, everything, which is crazy. But it's also fun. So right now we are only 2, but who knows?
Interesting. And when you work with clients, how is it organized? When a client approaches you, for example, do they communicate their concept to you so that you just shoot, or do they want you to come up with ideas that will somehow reflect the brand and stuff?
It really depends on the client. Like, it's really difficult to say from project to project, but usually the projects that end up the best are those images when the client knows your work, likes your work, and leaves you space to be creative and to do what you do, right? But usually they have like a major idea, or maybe you should go this direction, but they never go full into it, like you have to do this. No, it's just more like a brief idea, very general, and then the next step of the process is that we work together. We try to brainstorm and do, these sketches that Anna is always doing. She's always the one drawing. But it's useful for the both of us because, through her drawings, I can explain myself, which is kind of an interesting process. And then we share those with the clients, which I think it's very useful also for them because they can, in advance, they can see, oh, I know how this is going to look. And
yeah,
I think
drawings are so powerful because, for example, of course, normally the client knows what we do, so it's great because they already know what are we going what he's going to expect. But sometimes if he or if the company shares a briefing, normally we try to do our own thing. So through drawings, it's super easy to make them understand. Yeah, we are going to do your idea, but in this way, or maybe we are taking this word or this concept, but we are going to change it into something else. And yeah, it's another way of expressing ourselves. So it's great because imagine shooting everything and then the client is not happy. It will be a nightmare. Yeah.
That was maybe about your most favorite project with the client.
Most favorite project.
What was?
I mean, we have different
types.
types.
Smart and Netflix.
Those
big ones.
I mean, there are some projects that just involve making pictures or creating images for the clients, but some other projects are tremendous. For example, going on a trip to do something, or for example, with Netflix, it was a whole project of traveling to a lot of different countries and different cities to shoot images in locations where previously a series or shows or movies were shot. And that was a very long process. It was like 10 days, I think. We were in Venice, London. We were all over the place in a span of 10 days. But that was also interesting. Also, we did for Facebook. We actually built an installation.
For Facebook, we worked twice. I mean, they're super fun. They are great. I mean, they're family now. So every time they ask us for, hey guys, we think we have an idea. We were like, okay, let's see. Because first time it was a 15-second video, like a story. And we are photographers. We don't shoot videos. So we say, okay, let's try. I mean, we asked them like, do you guys, we are photographers, right? And they say, yeah, we know. So it worked. We were happy. So the next time they called us, it was again like, come on, tell us, what are you thinking? And they asked us for like an installation, like a real installation. It was like, really, I mean, you can ask us photography. I mean, it's fine. So it was a whole story. I mean, we should do some stories just to tell, because we had to drive from Valencia, from Spain till France, till Cannes, like 1,000 kilometers, like a van, with all the installation just to deliver it. It was crazy. It was 1 month building it. It was super fun. Then we were super happy to see people interacting with installation, but it was not photography. But we were totally out of our comfort zone.
But I think it's also good because you have to stretch your creative skills and go try something new. It's always interesting. Nice. I want to go back to the point where you found your style, and was it hard for you? Was it easy for you? And I know that many people who are watching us right now, they're struggling with this. How do you find your personal style? Because you want to copy this and this and that, and then you just end up with just doing everything. And how is it for you? And what your advice would be?
I think what we do now, it was something that it didn't happen from one day to the other. It was something that happened very organically and very naturally. And I was actually thinking about this the other day. And I think that instead of, of course, when you're starting, you need to, do a little bit of everything. But at the same time, I think the way you're going to find your own style is looking inside of you and I'm going to explain. So everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different background. Maybe your parents are, you know, architects, or maybe your parents are photographers, and you have, you know, you have more knowledge about this because of your family, or because of your friends, or because of what you studied, which is our case. We come from the architecture world, and I come from the photography world, and Anna comes from illustration, design, and architecture also. And that personal background, it's really what shapes the way that we work. It's not like I'm trying to take pictures of pets, let's say animals. I don't have a pet, so it would be really weird for me to understand, you know, how an animal feels if I'm pointing the camera. But I know exactly how to take a picture of a building, because that's what I was doing from the very beginning. So, you know, and then I found Anna, and she was completing, maybe, you know, I'm kind of more of the serious type of person, and she's crazier. So I'm kind of, in a way, it's like we are helping each other, and we are shaping the work together, but because of our personal background, you know, and I think that's what most people could relate. So, for example, if you like to cook, maybe you can be an amazing, you know, food photographer, because you already know how food looks better, and you can take that into your work. I don't know. I think usually when you try to think about what can I do, you look outside and you say, okay, so this girl is doing this, or this guy is doing the other thing. I can do that. No, think what is the thing that only you can do. And for us, it was this, thinking about architecture, thinking about buildings in a different way, in trying to showcase that you know, your city can actually be something that you can really love and be happy about. I think it's kind of a unique idea. Usually you just take for granted the place that you live in. But we discover every day because of photography. So, you know, look inside yourself, and you will probably find what makes you unique. And
yeah, I would say that you have to love what you do. I mean, we didn't look for a voice. It just happened because we can't help it. It's something that we can't help it. I mean, we started this like as a hobby, and now it's our job. But I think that it's the same from everybody. Of course, at first you try. I mean, maybe you see something that inspires you, and you say, "I'm gonna try this," but then you will find your voice. I mean, you will find what you like, what you are good at, what you enjoy the most. So, and it can be anything. Of course, you can be a great pet photographer. I mean, anything can be your style.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And how do you usually find the buildings that?
well, it's different every time. Some buildings are in our own city, because that's the easiest, of course. When you go to work, or when you go to a dinner, you find a random spot that has something that speaks to you. Other times you are abroad and you have to do some homework and some research before you travel. And other times it's just totally random. You just go on a trip in Paris, and then you discover this a beautiful place with this particular shape. But at the same time, you need to have an idea, because for us, it doesn't make sense to just take a picture of
Building.
you know, of a building, of a space, because that's just architecture photography, and it's totally fine by itself what we do. So, you know, we have a lot of locations that we know are special, but we don't have the idea or the concept yet. So it's like, okay, we know where this place is, but we need to come back when we actually have an idea. And it's also the other way around. We have a lot of ideas and things that we want to do, but imagine that you have to take a picture somewhere and you need a green facade, very big, with a huge scale. You know, if the aspect of being green is necessary, that idea, it won't happen until you find, you know, or you look for it, a green wall, or
Yeah, that's not said. I mean, for those people that don't know, we always shoot on the street with no lights. Always, I mean, always natural lights. So it doesn't matter if the architecture is the main part, or if the concept is the main part. It's always the same process. It's always in the streets, always in, you know, in public facades. So yeah, if you don't have both elements, like concept, like the idea and the background, the picture is not ready. So if you are in this, I mean, if you're in Valencia and you have this facade, we take a picture and we keep it in our folder, and we we think about ideas, but sometimes when we travel, we try to do our homework first, because imagine you have this beautiful facade in Los Angeles and you are moving in 2 days. Like, what are you going to do? We don't want to shoot just the facade. So before flying to the destinations, we try to come up with ideas. We have some brainstorming and some sketches. And that's why when we travel, we always have weird stuff in our luggage. Like, I don't know, like maybe we are going to Dubai, to the desert, and we have 3 different umbrellas. I mean, like different weird stuff that I always imagine that the guys from the control, I mean, from the security control, thinking, why is she wearing that? You know?
Yeah. And so what is usually primary, location or idea in your case?
It's both of, you know, who's taking the picture, both of us. What is more important, the concept of the location, both of those things. But I think that's what makes it. For me, if I was maybe working by myself, I would be more interested in the architecture, just taking pictures of beautiful buildings. If Anna probably was on her own, she would be drawing beautiful concepts or beautiful ideas, and maybe not taking care of how great they look, or if they can be printed in a huge size. So that's how we complement each other, I think.
When you shoot in public spaces, how people react? Because I know that so many photographers, they struggle with this awkwardness of doing something in public places. I had to overcome this as well myself, because I'm shooting like weirdest stuff ever in some crowded places. But how was it for you? How do people react now when you have like following?
Okay, yeah. So we are both in front of the camera. I mean, sometimes we are both. So, I mean, I don't think about it. I mean, it's fine. I don't care if people is staring, or because what we do is normally something funny, something weird. So it's super fun to see people like staring at us, like, what are they doing? But since everything in the picture is real, everything you see on frame, it's already in, I mean, stage. It's funny because people can see like a couple like having a drink with a real paper light, or I mean, you can see this picture we have with the smile, with the scared. People already see the smile, so it's funny because people is smiling, people react fine. And some of the pictures we take it in my village, which everybody knows us. It's really fun because they are already having fun, and hey, I saw your picture, so it's something nice. I mean, we try to make people smile, and it works in photography, like when we share and during the process, which is super nice.
I think what we do usually, and I'm not the one that is very happy about it, because I tend to be embarrassed really quickly and very easily. But I think what we do sometimes have something to see, like a performance. Like I feel like I'm doing something for the public, because we're walking in the street and we're doing something that you can actually see with your eyes, because there's not that much, you know, Photoshop afterwards. So you know, when sometimes you can see people stopping and staring, it's like, you know, they know what's going on, and they stop, and it's you know, sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it.
Yes.
The worst part is when you're in the city and they say, we know you, you are these guys, and it's like, oh yes. So it's fine.
Great. So how much is there of Photoshop in your works? I think everyone is also curious to know about that.
We try to keep it to the bare minimum. Like we try to have everything on the camera, on frame, done by hand with. It's not up here on the frame, but we have all sorts of props and things that we build and that we can paint. And of course, we always use it in Photoshop, but it's for, you know, light touches, like, you know, to remove you know, something in the wall that was not supposed to be there, like a crack or something like that.
Or for example, if we are using, of course, we can use bigger papers, but we keep it simple. Maybe we buy like smaller papers. Maybe we have to remove the line between the papers, but you can see the picture finished in the street. I mean, it's already, even though if you think this is so easy to do in Photoshop, like for example, like these pictures we do with the dots. I mean, it's so easy to do with Photoshop. No, we are the whole afternoon cutting the dots at home.
But I also think there's of course when you see that on Instagram, it may not be making that much sense because it's so small. But when you print those really big, you can see how everything, every dot, every line, everything, it's unique because it was done by hand. And I think that's something you wouldn't have if you were using Photoshop, even though it's completely fine. I don't have anything against it. It's just that when we are working, we prefer to, think about how we can do this and, with our own hands and make it real so that you can, I don't know. It's weird because sometimes you think about it and you're like, I can do this totally on Photoshop.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we know Photoshop, of course, but, it's more like, we love this, working with our own hands to make this unique, So it's weird because we are taking a lot of time to prepare one picture, but it's fun. I mean,
yeah. I can totally relate because in my pictures I also prefer everything to be real and then use very little Photoshop after that. And when I shoot composites, I shoot like I have some images with a flying origami, for example. I shoot them right there. I just remove the sticks that are holding them afterwards because the lighting is important as well.
Yeah,
it's so hard to make it work afterwards in Photoshop when you add something like from nowhere, basically. Yeah. Question: do you ever print your works like in big size? Do you have exhibitions? Do you print that in magazines or somewhere? Tell us.
So we've been working for a year and a half, I think, with the galleries, and we have some of our works in New York and Tel Aviv, and and we've done a few exhibitions, and I think it's a totally different thing, and I think it really when you see your work printed, for us at least, it's like it makes sense. Like what I was just saying, like you are doing this, you spend countless hours building things, and then you in Photoshop making sure that everything looks perfect, and you spend a couple of days choosing which image is the best, and then you just have it on this tiny screen. But then you go and you print those images and they look so you can analyze every single detail and every single thing, and we now have a great camera, and we are now working with a Hasselblad, the X1D, which is a medium format camera, which is great. I mean,
we started with the phone.
Yeah, of course. It's been a complete journey, and I think it only makes sense now. I mean, it would have been just stupid to start working with Hasselblad. That doesn't make sense because you need to learn step by step, and we were just taking pictures with our phones. I remember. I mean, we have images that I love and were shot with an iPhone 5 or iPhone 4.
Yeah, of course, because we love the idea and the background. And for Instagram, it's totally fine. But when you want to print like big, of course, the camera matters.
Yeah.
So, and of course, we have our work printed in magazines. Actually, they are here, like behind. We store them there, and we never show them. So luckily, this year, we start to share more. But it's always super exciting when you receive like a magazine or like a book cover, or it's like, oh, it's my work, and you feel super proud.
also I think for people that are starting to do photography, I think exhibitions, I mean, it doesn't have to be a solo exhibition or something very big about yourself, but it can also be an exhibition at your own place in your house. Because when we have the opportunity to print for an exhibition, even if it's for a group or solo exhibitions, you can start to see your own obsessions. You know what I mean? It's like because you get used to the Instagram feed or your gallery on your computer, but then you print and you see how an image that you took, a couple of years ago relates to one that you just shot a month ago, and that's very nice to see how those images talk between each other. And for us, we did one exhibition a couple of months ago in Alicante here in Spain, and it was very funny to see how those images so far from each other, in time, I mean, but then you put them together in the gallery, and they they felt right. It's like you can see that, yeah, that was on my mind and I didn't even know about, and I don't know, I think it's really special. I know it's a cliche that printing is very special for photographers, but I think it really is because it justifies what you've done without even realizing that you were doing it. And I think that's really, yeah, so special.
Yeah, but I think it's not a cliche, because today with the digital format, photographers print their works less and less, and
That's true.
happens as well. I also wanted to ask you about the whole meaning of your work. How well you say that you tell stories, and what are those stories about? How do you define?
I think for me, what is most special, what we do, what is special for me is that there's no a big story per se, but there's a lot of different small stories that complete a big picture. It's like we are telling a different story. We try to come up with a different concept for each image. But at the same time, all of those images speak about beauty, speak about happiness, speak about joy. Those feelings that at the same time I don't feel that they get a lot of representation in photography. I think there's a lot of photography about situations and political things that happen all around the world and dramatic situations, which I think it's incredibly important that we have photography for that. But at the same time, I think it's great when you go and see a movie and you go out of the cinema and you're happier than you enter. And I think photography can also be that. And usually you don't find that. You go into an exhibition and you learn about a terrible situation in the other part of the world, and you go at home and think about it. And I think that's great. That's something that we need as humans. But at the same time, maybe we also need a place that we can go and exit the exhibition happier than we were. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, but we said that, of course, art is about emotions, but of course, you can go to the cinema and it's super fine that this movie makes you cry, but it's super great when you go to the movie and you laugh. So we are super fans of Pastor Keaton, of Chaplin, all these super great directors that it was super fun to watch these movies.
Dasha Pears also.
Yeah. So
the visual humor that they had you were seeing those movies, which were really beautiful, but at the same time you were feeling great. You can see an image by I don't know, any director, you could be very touched and very emotional about it, but you don't really experience happiness usually, at least. And
so what we both say, Daniel, that humor is so serious. It's a serious thing. So we try to make it serious, but of course we want people to laugh, people to smile. So we share stories. Everyone can see their own story, but the main thing is that it's happy, it's joyful, it's playful, but at the same time, it's something that we take very seriously. Plan everything. I think it's really important also to show this part, right? Every day we see a lot of real stuff. We want to try to tell the bright side of life.
Yes, I think it's very important as well, because there is too much tragic and depressing and sad information about what is going on in the world around you. So people do need some kind of happy retreat when they do get positive emotions. I think it's really important. And your works are minimalistic. Is it some kind of philosophy that you have only for your work or also in life? Because I know that there are people who literally buy less stuff. They live in a very simple life. How it is for you?
Yeah, I think this is like architects live like this, less is more. It's a sentence that Mies van der Rohe, was an architect, he said once, and it's true. We don't have a lot of stuff. We try to at home, we try to buy or to get the thing we need, the thing we love the most, and that's it. Even Daniel is also wearing black and white all the time. He always looks like a cartoon or something. But for us, it's something we don't think about it. For us, it's logical, just not to to have a lot of stuff. And in photography, it's the same. If you want to tell a story, you want people to focus in what you want to share, not in the decoration. Or imagine if you are telling a story and the dress, as Daniel said before, it's the cloth is has flowers on it, or dots, or if it's not relevant for the story, maybe you don't need it. I mean, so we try to tell the story with the minimum elements possible, but of course we always have to tell a story. It's like it's minimal, but because of the elements
it's minimal, but it's meaningful.
Yeah, meaningful. Yeah, that's a good one.
But also, at the same, I really think it's very interesting how your life, your style of life shapes your work, but at the same time, your work shapes your. You know what I mean? It's like they both complement each other, because in our place, in our house, I mean, you cannot see this, but we have very few things, but at the same time, all of those things, I mean, we have this particular lamp that was designed by an interesting studio for IKEA, and we love it. And we have this TV, and maybe it's not the best one in the market, but it's the one that we love the design. And we have this, everything that we have, we can tell a story about how we found it, and where we buy it, or why we love it so much.
Yeah, we feel like little collectors.
Yeah.
So,
but we don't have a big collection. We have a very small collection.
Meanwhile, I've turned the comments on, so guys who are listening to us right now, please feel free to send us questions to Daniel and Anna. They will be happy to answer. Meanwhile, I'm sure everyone is very interested to know how was your journey from 100 followers to 100,000 followers, and then. But I think that was the very core of it. How do you get from just nothing to a lot? Was it easy or was it challenging?
Okay, for us, we didn't realize, we didn't try to do anything. I remember the first time, of course, I had 100 followers, and all of them were my friends, more or less. So I remember once that I got posted somewhere, and I think that 500 followers came, and it was like, what? They are not my friends. I mean, I don't know them. So it was weird. So from that time that you realize that there's more people watching your work, and you don't know them personally, you try to be better, to do things better, because there's people that it's watching what you do. So of course, from the beginning, we never posted in Instagram like personal stuff. We always thought that Instagram was a gallery, a perfect platform to show our work. So that's how we started, and it was something smooth. I mean, we never try to do something, or we never think about it. You share your work and people loves it, so it's kind of exponential. People talk about it, so you get published, and then you get published one place and then another, so it gets more and more. It's something, it happens like this.
Yeah, I think it's something that happened very organically. We never really tried, but it was also a different place. Like Instagram used to be more like an artistical place. It was not more, I think now it's more about, sharing your personal life and your stories, and which is very interesting also. But we come from a different, world. So the important thing was the art, or the work that you were doing. And I think if we had tried, we probably wouldn't even have made it. It's like it really happened very randomly, and we had a lot of luck, and we are always very thankful for the people that like what we do. And we can be thankful enough, but everything is random, and it's thanks to the internet and the hard work and the passion that we have. And we always say that this is what we do because we love it, and if there were no Instagram, no internet, we would still be doing it. Maybe we wouldn't be paid for it, but it
will be still our hobby. So we don't have a recipe for it. I mean, it just happened. We were doing our thing, and people seems to like it. So we are super happy, and now we are super like picky. We want pictures to be perfect and to make people smile. So we kind of have a responsibility,
Yeah.
to make it right. But I mean, it's fine. I mean, we are super happy to have a big audience to touch. And when we receive these messages like, "Hey, this made my day," or "We are so happy," or "This makes me smile," I mean, this is the best thing you can have, right? To make people smile from different parts of the world is kind of super powerful.
What are your biggest dreams as artist? Or do you have one, or do you have separate?
For me, I already feel like I'm living my dream. Like I'm doing what I love the most, and I'm doing it with the person that I love the most. So I'm not. I mean, we can always think about what special projects we want to have, but I really don't care that much because I'm already, like I just said, I'm already living the dream, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we love what we do, so that's a dream, right? But yeah, of course, if you start to think, of course, we would love to make a book or to have more exhibitions. I don't know, but this is something like comes with the future, with the future and with the year. So let's see, and with the hard work, of course.
Yeah,
so,
we're not in a rush. We can be patient about it.
Okay, we have a question from Marcin. Do you have any books about art that you can recommend, like art books?
We can recommend books from other photographers that we really enjoy. So, for example, and I'm pretty sure most of the people seeing this know him, but Rodney Smith is really, for us, such an inspiration. Yeah, and he has this book. He has a couple of books that are very special, but for us especially, not only because of those images, which of course, but also the text and the way that the book is designed to speak with the images is very special. So I think he has like two very big books. One is called The End, and the other one I think is just called Rodney Smith. And there's a lady with a red hat in the cover. It's just amazing and beautiful. And then the other one would be a book by Chema Madoff, which is
a Spanish photographer. He's super great.
And that book, it's I don't know the name exactly, but you can see that in the cover there's a class of. No, it's not here. It's in the studio, and so you can see that book. It's really good because you can see the images, the actual photographs, but you also get to find the sketches and the drawings. And for us, it's really special because we can relate to him, and words apart, okay, but we like the fact that we have something in common, and we're actually really excited because we are doing a couple of talks in this new year, and we actually get to share stage with them because we are going to the same event. So it's really, I mean, we're really excited about that.
Like fangirling, like sign my face.
Great. Could you please make stories in your account about those books and so that people can find them?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, this is kind of secret yet, but we are going to have like an online course and explain everything there.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we're very excited. That would be interesting. So another question from Johan Kme. Okay. But do you ever have creative blocks? What do you do when you don't have ideas?
Okay, I think it's difficult not having ideas. Maybe it's not the best idea you could have, but you always have ideas, right? So what we do is always sketch, talk. You can find inspiration, like you go to the movies and maybe you come out and you have ideas, and you listen to the music, or you go to the street, you see an object, or even we love Instagram. Weekend has the projects because it's a kind of game and a kind of training. You have a word and you have to play this word. Like, okay, I have to think to come up with idea with that word. So it's difficult not having ideas. So what we do is just train. Like if you like brain training.
But at the same time, we're saying that, but at the same time, I know that we are cheating because there's two of us. So it's always like we do have creative blocks. Maybe someone's it's not creative that day. I mean, you can have only that many ideas in a week, and but you know, there's someone else in the team that maybe that day is feeling particularly creative. So you know, we are really cheating on that. So what we would recommend is that you have someone, you know, a friend or someone from your family that you can share what you're going through. And maybe even though you don't, of course, maybe your father or maybe your brother, they don't have the best ideas, but maybe they come up with something so ridiculous that really sparks up your mind.
That's true. That's true. Of course, the ideas are not the best when you work on your own. Maybe Daniel asked me, why don't you do that? And then it was click, and you come up with another idea. So of course, sharing ideas is great because maybe someone just touches you in the. I mean,
it's like what you just thought about. It's just complete rubbish. But now I have an idea because of you. So that's usually how it happens.
Maybe you already had it, but it was not enough. So I mean, you always have ideas. I mean, so don't worry if it's not the best one, but there's something that is useful in every idea.
That's really interesting that I can totally relate to this. And one other question, which is kind of connected to our previous question, which artists, photographers, movie directors inspire you today?
So we recommended those two books because the content inside is very good besides photography, because the text and the sketches and the process was very good. But for us, we don't really find inspiration really in photography. We feel like we're doing something different, and for us where we really find inspiration is in illustration and in design. And you know, when we feel the most excited is when we discover a great illustrator and we see, because they start from scratch, and I'm sure this is something you can also relate. I knew, because just looking at your work, you can see the idea. I can see when I see your work, I can see, you know, it's almost like I can imagine that there's a sketch somewhere, you know, making that idea. And that's what illustrators do. They start with a sketch, then maybe they go into the computer or in a new piece of paper, and they try to translate that idea into something beautiful. But they start from scratch. They start with a blank piece of paper, and that's how we start too.
Yeah, in our case, sometimes it's difficult because, of course, we can fly or things like that. But, you know, creativity is also thinking about these ideas. Like, how can I do this picture without breaking the rules of world? You know, I can fly, but maybe I can shoot from above. So that's what we like. We start from scratch, from a paper, we start from a drawing, but then we have to keep on creating the way that we have to shoot this picture and to make it real. So yeah, I mean, illustrators are amazing. So yeah, I would say that for us, inspiration comes from illustration.
Yeah, I can totally relate. I'm the same. Can you name any illustrators who are your favorite?
I think at the moment our favorite illustrator is Jean Julien, I think, right?
Yeah.
Because he's a terrific guy. He's French, and he does everything. That's also something that I really like. I think photography tends to be very, you know, paper or computer. You know, that's why we enjoyed projects like the one we did for Facebook, because it was not really photography. It was more like an installation. But illustrators like Jean Julien, they can design clothing, sculptures, or
objects,
they can, cards, games, and videos for musicians. I mean, that guy is just a thing from another world. So, yeah, Jean Julien. Yeah.
Any other names?
Yeah, maybe we have to make a list for. I mean, to write a list, because right now we don't know. I mean, there are too many illustrators that we love. So
yeah, but that's actually would be interesting to make stories as well. Yeah, especially at least the link to this one.
There's also another thing with us is the fact that we have a terrible memory.
He has my memory is perfect.
Yeah, but the online course that we're doing is very good because we had time to plan for that. So we actually recommended a lot of places we get inspiration from. and photographers and such. But the thing is that with the internet, it's like, at least for me, it's like I discover my favorite artist like every week. It's like, okay, this is not my favorite artist, this is not my favorite photographer, this is not my favorite YouTuber. And I don't know. For me, at the moment, really, Jean Julien is the illustrator that I look up the most, because he has so much work and so many. You can see conference on YouTube, and I don't know.
Yeah, what we like is like in 2 lines, he can tell the story. I mean, it's great. I mean, you don't need. It's like minimal. You don't need anything. With 2 lines, he can make you laugh, and that's great, right?
Yeah. That's we'll soon be finishing our interview, and I will tell you exactly when Instagram tells me when it's going to be interrupted. But guys, if you have any questions, you have the last couple of minutes to do it. Meanwhile, I would love to ask you, what makes a good photograph, in your opinion?
I think when I see photographies, maybe I think we're too much of a perfectionist. The both of us are, and for me, when I see an image, it's very difficult for me not to think this could have been done this other way, or I would have tried not to crop it in a different way, or I would have tried to wait for a different light, or when I see an image, whether it's mine or it's from someone else, and I can't come up with something to say, that I just want to look at it, I think that's a great image. When I get the concept straight away, I don't have to look for it, I don't have to search for a very hidden message. When I see that everything is on place and I can really think about how to modify that, I think that's, but that's just me. maybe you have a different take on it.
Yeah, I want to say hi. There's a lot of people we know there, so hi.
Yes, there are so many people who are saying that you're their favorite couple on Instagram, and
really?
much
We
love.
didn't read that. The comments are so small that we are saying people we know, so hi.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna be interrupted soon, so thank you so much again for this opportunity. Thank you so much for your time and for your answers. You were very generous with the information.
That's about it for the interview. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you got a huge inspiration boost from the talk. All the names and books that we mentioned will be in the show notes to this episode. You'll find them at dashapears-art.com/podcast. If you liked this episode, please like and comment on it on your podcasting app. This helps more people see and benefit from the info I'm sharing. I also do a lot of responding to comments, so drop me a direct message on Instagram and share your thoughts. Now, until next time, take care, guys.